Alright, so now let's go over your student portal. Within your student portal, when you first log in, you'll have a service list that pops up. There are some different resources that you can access on this page. First, you can access your webmail, which is linked to your university account. So make sure that you are checking your university email at least once or twice a week because this is the main communication that the university will use to get in contact with you. Your advisors will send emails to you, any resources like bursars, and all the offices on our campus will reach out through your university email. Then you have Canvas, which is our learning management system that all your professors will use for your classes. So this is where they're going to post your assignments, your grades, and any announcements for your classes. So once the semester gets closer, you'll want to make sure that you're going into this Canvas shell and looking at your classes. And then you have your UCD Access tab, and that will take you to the homepage for your portal. If you ever need to get back to your application or check anything or update anything, you can do that through the next tab. And then down below, we have some CU Denver student resources. So My Links is where all our student organizations are held, and you can check out all the student organizations that are available to you as a student. And you can look if they have an upcoming meeting or an event coming up you might want to attend. And so if you want to get more involved on campus or kind of just see what we have available, I would definitely recommend checking out My Links. And then we have the Career Center, and this will take you to our job board called Handshake. And this is where you'll be able to search different job opportunities. So if you have work study, you can find all the work study positions available, as well as some off-campus opportunities too. But now let's go into the main homepage for your portal. So click on UCD Access, and this is what your homepage will look like. Also down below on this page, we still have a couple more resources for you. And the first one is You at CU Denver. And this one is an awesome resource for students. You don't have to go anywhere or anything. You can access it directly on your computer, and it's like BuzzFeed. And if you've done BuzzFeed, they have quizzes and different things that you can do. This is very similar to that. You can take some quizzes, and then it can also recommend some resources that we have available on our campus that you can use, as well as some other outside resources or tips and tricks for you as a new student. And it also really has a really cool goal program in there where you can set some goals for the upcoming semester or a couple goals for your personal life or any goals that you might have in the upcoming year. And it's just a way to track them for you. And also below, we have some more additional links, and we have our campus closures and emergency alerts. This is what you want to sign up for. So you'll get text messages for any time we have a weather delay, or if we have a snowstorm and we don't have to come to campus, you'll be able to get those notifications right on your phone. We also have the campus academic calendars listed here, so you can look at the important dates you need to be aware of as a new student and keep up on those. And this is another way you can also access your webmail and Canvas. So off to the side, if you click on the person icon, this will show your student profile. It will show your student ID, your major, and your enrollment date and time will be listed. So in the future, when you are going to be enrolling for future semesters, like for spring, you'll want to make sure you're going in here in October and checking out what your enrollment date and time is. And typically those open in November, and so that way you are getting prepared to schedule an appointment with your advisor and are also prepared for when that enrollment date and time comes around. Also, once you are assigned an advisor, your advisor name will be listed here for you. Now let's go to the middle section of the page right here. So once you register for your classes, a way you can double check to make sure you're fully enrolled for all those classes is going to this middle section. You'll want to make sure you select which semester you're checking in on. So since you are registering for fall classes, you're selecting fall 2020. And then once you register for classes, it will populate here for you. and then you'll be able to see the status as enrolled, and that will make sure you got all your classes added. Once you get closer to the semester, you'll want to use the Coursebooks tab to find textbooks you might need for a class. To do that, you will click on the arrow on the specific class, and then you click on the auto-generated link right here. This link will automatically look for your books for you. Not all courses will have a book that is required. And a note for that is ebooks must be paid with a credit or debit card. You can't add those to your tuition. This will also give you information on our Tivoli bookstore. So if that way you were wanting to purchase your books through them, you are able to do that, and you're able to view the prices for a new, used, or if you were to rent a book from the bookstore. They also have a program where you can charge up to $750 to your tuition account, and that's for any books, supplies, or anything you purchase from the bookstore. And then that way, if you have any leftover financial aid or scholarship money on your account, you can use that to pay for your books. So now we are going to the side of the page right here where you see a drop down menu of different tabs. For example, you can click right on registration and records and click into register for classes, or you can go to the student billing tab and click on additional functions and info, click on student center, and that will take you to your student center in your portal. And in your student center, this will have a whole bunch of different icons and a bunch of different tasks that you can do within your student portal. So I'm just going to go over a few of these today, that way you can get a better understanding of what you can do. So the first one is your academics. So if you click on that, this will kind of give you a rundown on different things academically. So you can look at your academics, you can look at your term information, update your COF authorization and review. And so COF is for all Colorado residents, and it's a stipend for you to use, and you get a certain amount of money off each credit you are taking. So if you've never used COF, you will need to go to their website and actually apply through their program. Then once you have done that, you will want to make sure you're coming to this tab and clicking on the COF authorization and review, and you can authorize CU Denver to use those funds, and then it'll just automatically come out, and there will be a couple of different options when you are authorizing that. And you'll want to be aware that you'll be able to either authorize it for a lifetime, so it automatically comes out every semester for you, or you can do it by semester. So that would just mean you would need to come into your COF authorization and review tab and update that every single semester. So we recommend that students just update that lifetime authorization because it's easier than having to constantly remember to come in and update it. And this is for when you're all done with your credits and have all your requirements met, and you'll be able to apply for graduation through here. So you can find, and then you can find your grades, your unofficial transcript, and so this has a lot of different good tasks that you can get done within this one. And then the next one you have is your admissions tab, and which will take you to your applications. And I don't currently have any, so that's why there's none listed, but if you did, then you would be able to see those. And the next one is your advisor, and this is just another way you can find your advisor's name once you're assigned one. And if you haven't been assigned yet, it will show up here when you have. And it also gives you some details so that you're able to contact them and find more information about your advisor. So like it pulls up, so if I click on details, it pulls up my advisor's email as well as her role. That way I can email her directly so I can get an appointment set up, or if I have any questions, I can email her directly. So now we'll go back to the student center, and you can also look for classes this way. If you click on class search, and you can go to what semester you're wanting to look at, and you'll be able to search for classes that way as well. And then next we can look at your student account, and this is where you'll be able to view your bill for the upcoming fall semester. Your tuition bills will be available on August 3rd. And so you'll be able to check here to see how much your tuition and fees are worth, So you can update your cost through this page. You can set up your direct deposit, and if you're planning to use financial aid, and if you have a refund coming up, that comes to you a lot sooner than if you were not to do direct deposit and just receive the check. With direct deposit, it just seems to be faster for students instead of waiting to get that check. You can also review your 1098 T form for tax purposes. You can look at a whole bunch of different things on here, as well as setting up payment options. And we do have payment plans available to our students, and so you would set all that up through your student portal, and we have a couple of different options, and you kind of just want to look at which one would be best for you. But the max number of installments that you can do is a 4 installment plan, and then that would take out on the 20th of every single month, and that would automatically take out. And if you use a credit or debit card to pay for your tuition, just be aware that there's going to be a service fee to use that. And so there would be a 2.75% service charge for every time that payment came out. So just something to be aware of. But there are definitely options on payment plans. Or if you wanted to pay by check, you could do an e-check through your bill and not have to pay the service charge, as well as there's a couple options that you want to look at once it gets closer to the semester. And here you have your financial aid tab. So if you were awarded any financial aid, you could go to this tab and be able to accept or decline those awards here. Just be aware, when you are applying for financial aid, you are applying for 3 different types of aid. So you have your grants, which is free money and that you do not have to pay back, but those will automatically be accepted for you, so you do not have to worry about going in and accepting those, because we automatically do that for you. And then you are also applying for work study if you check the box to be in the pool for work study. So if you are offered work study, you would want to go in and accept that through your portal. And something to be aware of is you do not receive work study funds. That lump sum you'll see listed on your award letter at the beginning of each semester. You will actually have to find an on-campus job, and you will work up to that amount. So you would be getting paid just like other student employees, and you would get a bi-weekly paycheck and would slowly be earning that work study award. And the last type of aid is loans. So just being aware that loans are money. If you accept, that is the money you have to pay back at the end. So just being aware of which ones you're accepting. But you can view all those through the financial aid tab once you have been awarded. Also, this is something with financial aid to know with financial aid, is that you'll see a lump sum that is for the whole year. So you'll want to divide those numbers by 2, because half of it will be used for the fall semester and half of it will be used for the spring semester. So if you have any questions or need help with financial aid, I would recommend reaching out to our financial aid office and setting up an appointment with one of their financial advisors, and they can really run down all that with you as well. We're going to skip over registering for classes because I'm going to show you guys how to do that once at the very end. And then here we also have your profile. And here is where you can have someone be able to view your account. So you can give guest access, you could do the FERPA release. So if you have a parent or family member or a third-party person that wants to be able to pay for your bill or wants to be able to see certain things, you are able to give them permissions, and you are able to actually choose what those permissions are. And so you can fill out that FERPA release and really set up those guidelines on what they're able to see within your account. And then you can update your address, your email, your phone number, your pronouns, all this information about you. You can update through this tab, so you can definitely make sure that you're checking this out and making sure that all of your information is correct as well. And then down here we have your tasks and holds, and something that you want to make sure you're paying attention to, because this is very important, because if you have any holds on your account, those will prevent you from being able to register for classes. So like as new students have to complete orientation and meet with their advisors, you have those holds, and then they get removed when you complete those tasks. and then you're able to register for classes. And something to be aware of as a new student is you don't currently have a hold for your immunization record, but all new students will need to submit their immunization records through the health center, and you will need to do that before October 1st. And if you don't get that done before October 1st, then the whole hold will be placed on your account and will prevent you from registering for classes in the spring semester. So definitely want to make sure that you are filling out your immunization records and getting in contact with the health center and getting that submitted so you don't have to worry about it, and you can actually go to their website, which is healthcenter1.com, and then the immunization records compliance form is right there on the screen to use. Fill it out and it submits it right for you, so definitely make sure that you're doing that. And then you have your tasks to do items, and your to do items are for financial related items. And so if you have filled out the FAFSA and are wondering why you haven't been awarded, you want to make sure that you're logging into your portal to see if you have any to-do list items. So this might be a verification document that the financial aid office needs from you, and so they would put those all those requirements in your to-do list, and then you are able to click on it, and that will take you directly to the form you need to fill out and submit. And you can also check your status of your forms on here. So once you notice if you do have a verification documents are required, and then you fill them out, submit them, and then you can come back and check the statuses. So you can see, oh, I submitted, it's under review, or I have submitted and oh, I see it's completed. So I know it's good to go. And they can also tell you if it's incomplete. Maybe you did all the information but forgot to sign it, and they can show you all those statuses. That way you can stay up to date on your forms, and you don't have to constantly call their office to get updates. So definitely make sure if you're using financial aid that you are checking out this task for to-do items. Alright, so now that we have gone over kind of a brief overview of the information that's within your student center, we're really going to dive in for registration for classes. So there's two ways that you can do this. You can either click on register for classes right here, or click on the registration and records tab on your homepage. And once you click on it, you can do a class search. And before you get to the screen, you might need to set up a few things. And so if you have those items that you might need to do, like update your address and add an emergency contact within your system, do that. And you want to make sure that you have a mailing and local address and a home address. So when you are updating your address, it can be all the same address. You just need to make sure that you're checking a box. So you'll log into your portal, you go to registration and records, and it will have you update the address. And then at the very top, you'll see 3 boxes as a mailing, local, and home. You want to make sure that you're actually checking the box that says local, because it will not let you move forward until that box is checked. So just check the box and then hit save. And then you'll want to make sure that all the other information is correct for you. And if you're missing emergency contact, you want to make sure that you're adding in one for the university. So just adding a parent, a sibling, a friend, anybody that can be an emergency contact. And then you'll be able to save that information, and then you'll be able to move to the next step. Also, as a new student, you might get a message from us that's pretty long. So you want to make sure that you're reading through that. And that is just letting you know, if you are signing up for classes, that you are responsible for tuition, and knowing that the important dates in order to drop your classes, in order not to have to pay for your tuition. And so you want to make sure that you're staying up to date on those, and then you say I accept at the bottom, and then it will take you to this screen. You want to make sure that you're selecting the correct semester that you're trying to register for. Since you're all registering for the fall semester, you want to make sure that you're selecting fall 2020, and then select that and then hit continue. You're going to get this new screen, and I think the easiest way to search for classes is by search by subject and catalog number. So you'll click on this and it will open the screen, so the lists that your advisors will be providing with you will have your class and all have a subject area number and the name. So it's like if you're trying to register for English Comp 1, you want to put in the 4 letters that are before your class name. So for English, it's ENGL. And then for the catalog number, it will always be the 4 numbers that all those 4 letters that follow those 4 letters. So for English Comp 1, it would be 1020. And you're going to hit search. So then once you hit search, it brings you up to the class that you're looking for. So I was looking for Chord Composition 1, and then so you just click on the class because that's the one I was looking for. And then it's going to bring a list of all the different options that you have available for this class. So just a couple of things to be aware of when you are registering for classes, and don't worry, we will be here for you when you are registering for classes, so we can also give you a refresher and kind of walk you through this as well. But at the top of your screen, there are different icons to be aware of. So you'll want to make sure that you're looking for classes that have this green circle. That means that the class is still open and still available for you to select. This red lock means that the class is closed and there's no other options to add yourself to that class, so you would not be able to add. And then we have this little clock. It's kind of a yellow-orange color, and this is a closed waitlist available. So maybe a class is at its max capacity, but you were able to add yourself to the waitlist. And so if a student were to drop the class, it would add the first person on the waitlist, and everybody would get scooted up on the waitlist. And then that first person would get added into the class. So if you do have a wait list for a class, just make sure that you are aware of them and that you're paying attention to your status. And then this triangle with the exclamation mark in it means that you have a schedule conflict. So if you don't have any classes that you are enrolled in currently, you won't see this icon until you actually add classes to your schedule. But once you get to the last bit of classes that you're trying to add, it's easy to add all the ones that you currently have in your shopping cart, and then that way when you're looking for that class that last class anytime, then that schedule conflict you'll be able to see, and it will notify you that the class will not work for the rest of your classes and that you've already selected. And if you get a circle with the red X, that means an error happened and something went wrong. And if that error pops up, it typically has a message that goes along with it. Just let one of the orientation staff members or orientation leaders know, or your advisor, and we can work through that error message with you and kind of get that fixed. That way you aren't having to worry about that. Alright, so now we're going to go over what to look at when you're actually looking at the different classes. So each of these boxes has a class option. And right here you can see that this class meets Tuesday and Thursdays 8 a.m. to 9:15 a.m. And this class will be meeting in the room, and when it's under the room it says remote. So that means it will be a fully online class, and it will most likely meet through Zoom during the designated times listed right here. And then another class when you look at is the online class. And for an online course, you will see that under the room it says online course. So that means it is fully online and will not meet in person. And when you're looking at a class, you can look at the available seats. And this one says it has 15 available seats. So yay, you can think to yourself, awesome, there's still a seat and I can select this class. And you can also look at the wait list to see how many people are on the wait list. And another thing to look at is enrollment restriction. And If it has a Y, that means yes, there's an enrollment restriction. And if there's an N, that means no, there's no enrollment restriction. And another thing to look at is this kind of class right here. It has a B in front of it. And that means that this class is actually located in our Beijing campus, and you want to make sure you aren't selecting that one because there's no way you can get from Denver to Beijing. And all our classes typically meet on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays. There aren't typically many Friday classes. You will see a few, but it's not very common. And when you're registering for classes, once you find a section that you want to take that fits in with your schedule, then you'll just find one, and then you'll click select, and then this will bring you to a screen that will just have you double check to make sure that this is the class you're wanting to add, and then you're going to click next. And then it will give you a message that English 1020 has been added to your shopping cart. And that does not mean that you're fully enrolled in the class. It just means that you have added it into your shopping cart. And you'll need to go through the whole practice for enrolling into that actual class. So once you have all your classes ready, you want to select each one. And you will select add selected classes, and I'm not going to go through with all this because I don't want to enroll in all these classes right now, but after you click that, you'll see that when you're adding classes, it will say finish enrolling. So you click on the button next to the screen that will say finish enrolling, and then that will give you a message if you were able to successfully enroll in those classes, or there is an error that came up, and then just let us know what the error message is, and we can help you get that fixed. So now that I have gone over all this information about adding classes, some information about what you can do within your portal, I also wanted to point out a couple important dates so that you want to be aware as a new student. So I'm actually going to pull up the fall 2020 academic calendar, and this is our academic calendar, and you can search for that and you can find it for each semester that you're wanting to look at. But a couple of dates that I want to point out is our first day of classes is August 17th, and so we want to definitely make sure that you're going to your classes and making sure that your schedule will work for you for the whole semester. And if you need to make any changes to your schedule, you can do that. So the first week, and really make those changes without any other factors that are in play. Then starting on August 23rd, that is the last day to add or waitlist a class using your UCD Access student portal. So that's the last day you can do what we just did, add or wait list the class. Then starting on August 24th, that's the last day to drop a class without the $100 drop charge. So if you were to drop a class the next day, you would actually get charged $100 for dropping that. So that's why we recommend students go the first week to classes. That way you can make any changes that you need to before the $100 fee gets added. And then August 24th is also the first day that if you want, you can add classes with the late add form with an instructor's approval. So you can still add classes, but it's just a little more of a process to add those. And so you will need to fill out that form and submit it And then another important date to be aware of is our September 2nd, and that is our census date. And you definitely want to make sure that your schedule is set in stone because on the census date, that's the last day to drop full-term classes with the financial adjustment, and it's only until 5 p.m. So at the end of the business day, whatever classes that you're in, those are the ones you're going to get charged for your tuition. If you don't want to be in a class, then you want to make sure that you're dropping it prior to census date ending at 5 p.m. And then this one's not on our calendar, but another important date to be aware of is when your tuition is due or payment plans needs to be set up, and that is September 4th. So it's always a Friday after the census date, and that is when your tuition will be due. And then you want to make sure that you have your financial aid paid out on your tuition bill and you don't have any remaining balances, or that you have a payment plan set up that you will be splitting up your tuition and whatever installments that you have picked. So definitely make sure you're aware of those important dates and that you are checking on the academic calendar for any important dates that you need to be aware of. Now, let's hand it back over to the orientation staff.